All right, let's dive right in. We're going to zoom way, way down to the microscopic level to uncover something pretty fundamental. How on earth do our body's cells actually connect to each other, to form all those incredible structures that keep us going?
No, seriously, just think about that for a second. How is your skin a perfect waterproof barrier? Or get this, how does your stomach lining manage to hold on to all those super strong acids without, just dissolving? The answer is, well, it's some of the most amazing biological engineering you could ever imagine.
So, this incredible feat of engineering, it all starts with one very special type of tissue. This stuff is basically the body's #1 barrier. It's like a protective shield, not just on the outside, but for all of our internal organs too. And that tissue is called epithelial tissue. The easiest way to picture it, think of a perfectly built brick wall. That's what it does. It forms these protective linings all over our body, from our skin right down to our organs. And just like a real wall, its strength all comes down to how tightly those individual bricks, or in this case, the cells, are packed together. There can be absolutely, positively no gaps. Okay, so how do these cells pull off that perfect gap-free connection? Well, it's time to meet the microscopic superstars that are responsible for holding this whole operation together. Let's talk about the cellular connectors. The secret weapon here is something called a cell junction. These things are incredibly specialized structures. You can think of them like rivets or zippers or even superglue. They literally lock neighboring cells together, creating this solid, impenetrable barrier. Honestly, they're the master builders of our entire cellular world. But, it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. There are actually 3 main types of these junctions, and each one has its own unique, really vital superpower. So, let's break them down. First up, we've got our first superpower, the tight junction. And yeah, the name pretty much gives it away. Its main job is to create this incredibly snug fit between cells. You want to know a great way to think about a tight junction? Just picture the seal on a Ziploc bag. Its entire purpose is to create such a perfect bond that it stops anything from leaking between the cells. That's exactly what makes tissues like our skin and our stomach lining totally waterproof and leak-proof. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so a perfect seal is fantastic, but you also need strength, right? You need something to hold it all together. And that brings us to our second connector, the adhering junction. This one isn't so much about sealing, it's all about structural support. So if tight junctions are that waterproof Ziploc seal, then adhering junctions, they're the cement. Their main function is to basically act like a powerful biological superglue, physically anchoring cells to each other. This is what gives tissues that take a lot of punishment, like our skin, all their strength and toughness. And last but not least, we have our third superpower. Now this one's a little different. It's not about creating barriers or gluing things together. This one is all about teamwork. Meet the gap junction. Yeah, this junction isn't focused on sealing or cementing at all. Its entire job is communication. Gap junctions create these tiny, direct channels that connect two cells, kind of like secret tunnels. And through these tunnels, chemical signals and ions can just zip right from one cell to the next. This lets a whole group of cells act together, like one big coordinated team. Okay, so let's do a quick recap of this absolutely brilliant system. First, you've got the tight junction. That's our Ziploc seal, creating the leak-proof barrier. Then there's the adhering junction, our superglue, providing that cement to hold the cells together. And finally, the gap junction, our secret tunnels, making communication possible. So you have a barrier, glue, and communication. 3 totally distinct and absolutely essential jobs. All right, I know that's a decent amount of information, and it can be a little tricky to keep straight, especially if you're studying for something like the NEAT exam. So let's get to the best part. I've got a super simple memory trick that's going to help you lock this in for good. Here it is, the quick trick you've been waiting for. This is a simple, really effective way to remember all 3 junctions perfectly every single time. You ready? The trick is just one word, tag. Simple as that. T is for tight junction, A is for adhering junction, and G is for gap junction. That's it. Just remember tag and you will never ever forget these 3 key epithelial cell junctions. So why do we even care about all this microscopic detail? Well, because these junctions aren't just some weird biological curiosity. They are absolutely fundamental to our health. Whether they're working right or not working right has huge consequences for our bodies on a much bigger scale. And that leaves us with one final and really important question.
If these junctions are our seals, our glue, and our communication lines, what do you think happens when they fail? When the barrier starts to leak, or the cement cracks, or those communication lines just go dead? It's a really interesting thing to think about. For now, that's all. Thanks for tuning in.